Hi everyone and welcome to a quick look at the Nikon D810 menu system. I'd just like to, basically I'm not going to go through this menu, not in this video, and explain what every single menu item does. It's just a quick run through just to show you what the menus look like and a few little maybe differences that look different to Canon, because as you all know I was a Canon guy, and I know there's subscribers on my channel that would just like to see what the differences are and what I think. One of the first things first that I like about the D810 is this viewfinder, how you can open and close it. I think that's really good, and I'm just going to quickly show you something else as well. On this camera here, you can't see it, but just out of the shot you've got to press a button and turn the wheel at the same time, and I'm doing this with one hand at the moment, and on the D750 I could do it one hand also. Now when I've been watching the reviews on YouTube, other people reviewing the cameras, people are really crying that saying that you can't do it with one hand, it's physically impossible. They bet £1 million, anybody can't do it, and I can do it with my eyes closed. Yes, I've never really knocked my top button when taking pictures, so I don't suppose you need that button, but it's no big deal. It ain't no to cry about. It works. I can change it. To be honest, I don't change it that much anyway. It usually stays in manual or AV. I don't see what the problem is, and I don't think you should worry about it when people are really crying over it doing it. When, you know, I mean, obviously somebody must have at some point in their life on a regular basis have knocked that dial, and maybe that's why they've put that button there. I've never done it personally, I must admit, like, and it wouldn't bother me whether it were there or it's not there. But that's not out really to gripe about. So with that being said, we'll just go over to the camera and we'll turn on the menus, and now some of the menus are a little bit short because I've not got a lens on it. So the first menu that you get, basically the menu's on the left hand side, whereas on the Canon it's along the top. And then we can go down on the left hand side, which is a bit like the Canon. And then what the difference is between the Nikon, now we're on the menu, we can move over to the right and actually enter that menu. And you can see at the minute we've only got limited things on because we haven't got no images and we haven't got no lens on. So if we go to the next menu down, which is a shooting menu, I'll now move over to the right and we'll start off at the top, which I think is that menu. Yep, it's there. That you get the shooting banks, which that's a little bit different to Canon, so we'll just talk about that. Basically, that's where you can put a load of settings in your camera and choose it in A, B, C or D. And it's a bit like extra custom settings that you have on the dial at the top. Then we've got the extended menu bank, so you can have even more by turning on, I mean, I aren't going to use them. File renaming, basically you can go in there and tell the camera to rename them. So you could, instead of being DSC, it could be GOH or whatever you want it to be. Primary card selection, basically as it's a dual card camera, I can tell it whether I want the primary card to be my compact flash or my SD card. At the minute it's set to my SD card because I haven't got any compact flashes. I've just ordered a 64GB high speed Lexar. Then you've got your secondary card function. This in here, obviously this isn't on the Canon either because you haven't got two memory card slots. This is basically you telling the camera what you want the second card to do, whether you want it to overflow, so when your first one gets full it'll go to your second, or you want it to do a backup, or you want it to record RAW on one card and JPEG on the other. That's my preferable setting. When I'm not doing weddings and stuff like that, it's just RAW file, only one memory card. I don't use another memory card. But all important, we'll select RAW plus JPEG as a safety feature. Image quality, that's just where you can select your RAW and JPEGs. There's no point talking about that. You've got your compression. Basically, you've got optimal priority and size priority. I want it an optimal for the compression. NEF-RAW recording, we can, and the NEF-RAW recording as well. You can have it compressed or uncompressed. I have the full maximum bit depth, which is 14 bits. There it is. You can have 12 bit or 14, but obviously we want 14. Image area. This is new to obviously Nikon, because this camera it's an FX full frame camera. And at the minute we're in FX mode, which is 1.0 full frame. But it can also go to 1.2 crop factor, and it's APC size sensor Nikon, which is 1.5. So we can move down here and we can tell it to zoom in, as you've seen me do on one of my videos. You can also, if you go back here, we'll just go to white balance first, sorry, it's a bit low down. You can see on the Nikon, we've got 2 auto white balances. We've got auto normal and auto keep warm lighting colours, which I tend to keep. Set picture control. If you're shooting RAW, it's irrelevant. I like to leave it on flat for video, so that I get more dynamic range. Manage pitch control, we won't bother there. Colour space, I've set mine to Adobe RGB, so that when I shoot JPEGs, I get more colour space, basically because your JPEG gets compressed, and if you compress it with an sRGB colour space, then you're throwing away more colour space. So if you do it in Adobe RGB, and you get it on computer and you decide to push your saturation up 20% and your vibrance, you're going to get more gamut and more colour range on Adobe sRGB. For RAW, it's irrelevant. Active delighting is the same as like your auto lighting optimizer on a Canon. I have it off. Vignette control, that's your lens, for your lens, so it's like your vignetting and stuff like that. Movie settings, we won't go over that. We'll go over to the left. Now, if you look here, this is quite a complicated menu. Not complicated, there's a lot in it. If you move right now, and you go to the autofocus, and you move right again, then you can see you get a load of extra settings, which you can go right again. See how I keep going right, and there's menus and menus after menus. And then you go down, and we're going through all these menus. We're still going. I'm not going to break them all down in this video, by the way. Look at all these functions. What these are, if you watched then when I was going down, they were changing colours. That's the irrelevant colours. So if you go back if you look at the yellow and green, remember yellow and green, and we go down here, we don't have to go back out to go to the next menu. You can see it's automatically going to come now, look. So we go to the yellow, and then if we keep going, we'll go to the green and so on. So if you're wanting to go through your custom menus, you can just go into the autofocus and just keep going down, and you will end up going through every single one of these menus, which are here. On the left hand side, you can set your monitor brightness. You can also set the colours on your screen, so that if you want to get a JPEG, take a picture, put it onto your computer, you can move the settings around on your screen, so that your brightness and your colours and that match your monitor, which is quite a good feature. Monitor colour balance, yeah, we can shift it all here, but we won't touch it for now. I'll just press menu and come out. Clean image sensor, lock mirror up, oops. Flicker reduction, time and date. Auto image rotation. This is where you can put your copyrights on your images. Then you've got your AF tune, which is your micro adjust of your lenses, and you've also got, when you connect a DX lens onto it, it will automatically go into the DX crop mode instead of taking the image and giving you a massive vignette. Then obviously you've got your battery info there, which is quite nice. Right, I'll just leave it at that for now, because that's just a quick look at a menu system on an Nikon.